We're gonna start the count. Good luck.
So today I watched a film called Ready or Not, which was a black comedy horror film which was released in 2019. And I just have to say that I really enjoyed this film. It totally wasn't what I expected at all. So the basic plot of the film is that a young woman named Grace gets married to a man called Alex, and he introduces her to his slightly unusual family and their unusual tradition of initiating a new family member into the family. And that is where the new family member must play a game and win. The game that is chosen is hide and seek, but of course, this being a horror film, there is a deadly twist, and Grace instead is now fighting for her life as the entire family is now coming after her, trying to kill her before dawn. It's a film that takes a lot of unexpected twists and turns. There were times when the film went in a direction I was totally not expecting it to. So there was moments where I was honestly in shock. So the film sort of progresses from being a typical cat and mouse horror film to a film that sort of flips the tables on the attackers in the vein of You're Next, and then sort of becomes a film about a satanic cult. It's very unusual, but it's also very funny at the same time. The film has its tongue firmly in its cheek throughout the entire runtime, which I think helps a lot of the swerves in the plot work a lot better, because the film isn't taking itself that seriously, so you're able to roll with the punches a bit more. It's a very funny film. The comedy is very dark, so a lot of the humour revolves around characters shockingly dying in unexpected and hilarious ways. But it is a very well directed and well written film. And it kind of feeds into the same ideas of class conflict that Get Out did. So there is actually a line in the film where Grace actually shouts out in anger, "Fucking rich people," which is hilarious. Yeah, so it sort of feeds into a lot of the similar ideas that Get Out was exploring in terms of class conflict. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think Ready or Not definitely gets a thumbs up from me, and I think really needs checking out, because it's not just really good, it's really funny, and it's really gory, but it is really entertaining. And I think it's probably one of the better horror movies I've watched recently.
Come on, you son of a bitch!
And so we move on to the second 2019 horror film that I watched this week, and that was Crawl. Now, Crawl is a very different type of film from Ready or Not. Crawl is much more a typical monster movie. There's a lot of jump scares, there's a lot of tense sequences where the characters are at risk. It's a film that that basically follows a father and daughter who are trapped in a flooded house with a nest of alligators on the loose. And it is basically Jaws with alligators, but that's not to put the film down, because Jaws with alligators is basically some of the best praise I could give it. It's very entertaining, the characters are pretty well fleshed out. It's not a perfect film. I think it does have some unfortunate pacing problems, and I think it sort of has that problem of it shows its hand a bit too early. So once the alligators attack for the first few times, you sort of know what the film has for you. And it basically progresses from there in terms of jump scares, of alligators coming out of nowhere, and things like that. But that said, I did really enjoy Crawl. Perhaps not as much as Ready or Not, but it was a very entertaining film. And that also gets a thumbs up from me. So, yeah, so they're the two horror films I watched this week, and I'm a bit of a horror nerd. So those films really impressed me, because I think, the horror genre has been struggling quite a lot, but those films did really impress me, and I think definitely both of them were worth checking out. So, the next horror films on my list are, well, this is where I get into controversial territory, is I'm going to check out the Rob Zombie remakes of Halloween and Halloween 2. Now, I know these films get a lot of flack online, but I've never seen them, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what my takes on them are. I think if my impression of them is that they're not as good as the originals, but still entertaining films in their own rights, I'll be satisfied. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're like. But if anyone has any film recommendations, just please plot them in the comments below. And yeah, so I'll be checking those out, and I'll be back with a video discussing Halloween and Halloween 2. And I'll see you all in the next video, with any luck.